let me get this turned around. And welcome you to Tuesday afternoon. This is weird for me. I'm not used to saying Tuesday, but welcome to Tuesday. We're doing this early this week because I am going to be attending the Tucson Gem Shows later this week, and I wanted to make sure we got our design in before I go pick out stuff for new designs. So, you know, because we got to increase the stash, and then I got to buy stuff for kits for you guys coming down the road. So excited to go work on that. It is kind of exhausting though, you know, so I'm always, you know, well, I look forward to it. I dread it at the same time, just because it's a lot of walking, standing, and looking. So anyways, though, that's very, very exciting. Hope you have had a great 2 days. It's only been 2 days since I've seen you. So today we are going to make our, hey Janelda, thanks for joining me. We're going to make our sun catcher today. And we will be using some shells in our design. We're going to be using some mermaid beads in our design. We are going to use lots of pink because the card said I needed to use pink, and you know, this is a good time of year to use pink because Valentine's Day is coming up, right? And we're also going to put some ombre colors, designs, style. I don't know. Is it a style? Is it a technique? Anyways, we're going to use ombre. It's going to have ombre in it. So I have a collection of stuff today I pulled out. We're going to, we'll take a look at it in a minute. You used to wear plastic gloves, and at the end of the day, they were black. Yeah, I'm always tempted to do that. I just take wipes and wipe my hands off in between. Yeah, if you're digging, it's definitely a dirty work. So I'm also thinking of wearing my mask just because I need to stay healthy this week. So I might I'll always start out in it. I always do start out in it, but then I don't always keep it on. But yeah, you gotta wash your hands. You gotta you know, not hang out near the people that are hacking and coughing. And I, you know, as long as you don't eat or touch your eyes, you know, it's pretty good. But this is the time of year that everyone brings whatever viruses they have with them to Tucson. So it's always a little dicey. I've been working on getting my immunity up, you know, taking my zinc and my probiotics, and yeah, I think I'm gonna mask up. Because, like I said, I want to stay healthy. Because you guys, you know, really don't want to hear me coughing my way through the show. But anyways, since I started a little late, let's go ahead and flip the camera and get started on our design. Yeah, sun catchers. We did make. We have made sun catchers before. Don't know that I have last year's sun catcher handy. I think it had a turtle on it, but so this year's will be a little different. You also use spray called. Okay, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I've done pretty well, but I the one time I did get COVID, it was from the gem show. So, yeah, well. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, and I have 2 classes that I've signed up for, and one's like at the beginning, it's this Saturday, and the other one's the following Saturday, so I at least have to stay healthy through the following Saturday. But anyways, I went through my stash looking for stuff to make a sun catcher. Okay, I'll take a look at that. So, okay, remember the card. So we had to use pearls or shells, which I almost forgot because I have to go, as I'm looking through my stash, I had to go back and look and see. I almost forgot the mermaid beads too. and I was very focused on the pink and the ombre because I had to think a little bit about those, you know. And then, like I said, we're making a sun catcher. So since we're making a sun catcher, you know, there has to be crystals, right? Because crystals are sparkly. Let me move my pile of pink here. So, like I said, we're going to make a sun catcher, which to me means, okay, that'd be great. Hey, Lorraine, I see you're on here too, so great. So, like I said, we have to make a sun catcher, so we needed some sparkle, some crystal. These crystals are from a Friday Night Live with Stars Beads and Suzanne. And since it's near Valentine's Day, I thought the hearts would be fun. I also pulled out an assortment of pink crystals because I haven't totally gone in on my design yet. And then I had one large pink that's not a crystal, only because if I want to do like some sort of symmetry or something. I have a few odds and ends of spacer beads here. I have these cute little heart beads. So I'm going to use those as spacers. And then I have 3 different sizes of the Aurora beads, which are also commonly referred to as mermaid beads. Now, just a reminder with this card, I can do anything associated with mermaids, okay? So, I happen to be using these Aurora beads that are commonly called mermaid beads, but you could use a bead shaped like a mermaid or a mermaid tail or anything that kind of reminds you of a mermaid. So don't get caught up on the fact that you may not have the exactly what you wanted to use there, right? So these beads, some are from Beadoria and Stars Beads. The large ones were from the Bargain Bead Box. I think it was the December box. Might have been November. I haven't been getting it that long. Maybe it was December. And then I conveniently had these pink shells beads from this month's Bargain Bead Box, which fit in my design because I didn't have to go searching. So I decided we're just using shells to pick outside the box. Exactly. Like I said, don't feel like it has to be exactly something. You know, the same thing is like, I don't know if we have a turquoise card yet, but if we don't, we will. Because my next cards are going to have a Southwest theme to it. But in that case, you could use turquoise beads made out of turquoise, or you can use turquoise color anything. So, like I said, you know, always, you know, just do something that reflects what the cards are. You don't have to use exactly what's in there. But anyways, I am also going to do this on Soft Flex today. I am not planning to do any wire wrapping, although I thought about it, but then I thought this would be a good way to use, I mean, a good way to do Soft Flex. So we'll go through it as I'm thinking about it here. So let's move the cards off here. We reviewed those. Set that aside for the moment. Let's go ahead and pull some of these off so I can think about using them in my design. These, I think I actually got them at Walmart the other day. I was looking at something, or no, they're Bead Landing, so I think that's Michael's. But I happen to like these ones. They have the swirl design, but it also has the vertical hole. A lot of the metal heart beads out there are drilled from side to side. So in this case, I wanted something with a vertical hole in there. So Lorraine, you'll still have to show us what you made with your seed bead challenge. be curious to see what kind of stuff you have. I've been playing with seed beads a little bit this weekend. I was making beaded beads. Somebody on one of the pages I follow was making beaded beads, and then I just decided I had to make some, so I've been making these little sort of southwesty ones. I'm going to make a project out of that. My seed beading skills don't go very far, much further than peyote stitch, but I do have fun with it. So, all right, so what I was thinking here for my design is that we would have, you know, the big heart. Now, you know, with the suncatcher, the big part could be at the bottom or the top. I'm going to put it at the top just because I think it, I don't know, I just decided that I wanted it that way. And then I was kind of thinking I needed, I could use a couple of these pink beads in between the hearts. Now, so the question is, do I end with the heart, or, so I was thinking, you know, like just putting, you know, I could just do 1, 2, 3, or middle. Yeah, or that could go, you know, I could have 2 clears and then a pink, but I thought something like that would be kind of cute. I do have like a couple other shapes here. I have a round and a, I don't know, it's kind of a diamond, but not, I don't know. But these two are the same shape, and these two are the same shape, so it depends on what you like. And then I was just thinking I would put, you know, like a shell and a, maybe a shell and a mermaid bead in between. And I do have different size mermaid beads. You know, quite honestly, I could just put a couple shells. I don't have to put them in between all of them, but, you know, I might want to. Oh, and since I'm using soft flicks, I do need a just sort of a holder bead at the bottom. I think the soft flicks, you know, I can use just one string, and it'll still give it some movement because it's, you know, the flexible string. So, did you finish your anklet already, Janelda, since you got the easy draw this week? Hey, Veronica. Oh, thank you. So I don't know what, I mean, it's hard to see, but since I have all these things, so the question is, does that end up being too long? I guess there's no required length or shortness for a suncatcher. It can be as long as we want, right? So actually I may not end up using my little spacer beads, but that's okay because I don't have to. And then I was thinking I would do a loop for the holder, you know, for whatever you use to hang it. And that's where we're going to bring in our ombre with these assorted colors of seed beads. So I think we'll, I'm going to pull off some beading wire here. Let's see, I need at least that much times 2, so I'm just gonna do a long piece of this wire. Oh, you work out the chainmail. All right, so I'm going to Now this doesn't have to be even. I think, let me, even though I probably don't need it, I'm going to go ahead and put a bead stopper on one end of this so that I can just start beading this up and we'll see what it looks like. Is Tuesday a good day for most of you guys? Because I am like, if every once in a while, you know, I have to change up my schedule, so it gives me less time to prepare, but then I get the rest of the week free. Huh? All right, we'll have to see if we think this is too long, in which case I can just take off the bottom part, or we can switch up. I don't know that I like that. You guys think that's a little too much? The shells next to the mermaid. Thinking I could switch them. Or maybe just do. You can tell I haven't really thought this out too much. I got my components out. I've thought about it a little bit, but okay, so we could stop there. You have two other, okay. Yeah, I mean, I think that any day there's lots of people, so obviously, you know, Thursdays is not a bad day most of the time. I was just curious if this was a better day than some, but all right. I think that's nice and sparkly. What do you guys think? Do you think that's long enough? Too long? Should I keep the Oh, okay. So I'm interrupting one of your other what do you think? Does that shell and that moon or the mermaid bead kind of work with just the one? I thought it was a little too much with two. All right. It's not a sunny day here. We actually have clouds. It looks like it wants to rain, which we really do need the rain. All right, so I'm putting one of my seed beads on the bottom here, and I am just going to take this wire, string it back up. Oh, I'd fall right in between them. Okay. So I'm pretty sure I can get this wire back up between all of them. So I want these heart crystals are pretty weighty. So, you know, I want this to be strong. I could certainly use the heavy weight flex beading cord if you had it, but I don't have any, so add a couple of smaller. Well, I could do a little loop. You know what? Actually, yeah, maybe instead of just that one, we can do our little ombre. Fortunately, I had enough different colors of. Do I have 5? 1, 2. Oh, I missed one. do one little loop of ombre here. Let's see how. Back through here. See what we think of. Adds a little extra color, huh? And there, you know, there's something that if somebody wanted to hang something off of, they could do that. So I may still have to move those crystals, but we'll just going to get the string back through here. So, as always, if you're out there, say hello. If you're new to us, let me know where you're coming in from. If you're watching the replay, let me know you're out on the replay, because it's nice to know that people are catching me even when they can't watch me live. All right, let's see. The delay on my phone is really bad today. Hopefully you guys aren't getting too much of a delay, but it did take the notification a little bit of time. Use that. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't have any of the heavy soft flakes. I may have to get some, but I don't generally work with heavy projects. But what do you guys think? Is that look okay at the bottom there? It's probably hard to see. It's not bad. It's going to be sparkly. So, all right. So now we need to do our ombre up here. You can make kits for your son. Yeah, I don't have a ton of these hearts, but if I could find them, certainly worth making. I did offer some extra beads with the turtle kits to make them into sun catchers. But, all right, I am going to, let me just kind of separate these beads real quick, because it'll make it easier for me to do the ombre. I have managed to, between multiple packages of beads, I came up with 5 colors of pink. These, some of these are not high quality, so the sizes are all over the place, but yeah, the big sparkle beads from Kay. These were from, you know, Suzanne's on one of those Friday night lives, so, but I'm sure I could ask about where to find them. All right. Okay, so we got our pinks. I think they go in that order. All right. So like I said, what I was thinking then is that I would just, I think I may put one bead that goes through both of these wires before I start the ombre. So I think I'm just going to string it on one side, although I need to. All right, I'm going to, before I start stringing away. Where did I put my... There we are. Made my crypt beads. Alright. You can never watch the Friday Night Live. You have other stuff going on, or just too much stuff for sale. I started out this weekend. I didn't watch very long ago because I saving up for this week, so. I've been watching her Friday Night Lives since she started them, back when she still had the store open. They were a lot shorter back then. But she had some crazy ones, like when she did the vintage buttons, the vintage glass buttons. That was, you know, they were one of a kind, so you had to be quick. Which, these days, with the distance that I live away, I would never win anything. I used to live close, so I could actually win some of them. Alright, so just a reminder, ombre is light to dark or dark to light, depending on which direction you want to go. If we were doing color mixing, we would have like patches of solid colors and then, you know, gradual back and forth to get to the next color. And, you know, I could have done the ombre where, you know, I'm doing short strips of ombre, but I could also just do, you know, one color, then the next color, then the next color. What do you think? Should I do the short things of ombre, or should I make the whole thing... Should I make the whole thing, you know, a section of each color getting darker? What would you guys choose? Does that look too mixed? I'm going to have to work on my stash a little bit because I don't have, when I draw the ombre card, I don't have a whole lot of choices. You would think I would, but there's a lot of them that I have things that tend to really be the same color, or they're kind of too far off to use as an ombre. You like it mixed? Okay. I like it mixed too, I think, but I think the other would look pretty as well. Here. So the question is how long, you know, I was thinking, yeah, we need to go definitely longer on there. This is the fun part, right? Yeah, it's probably good enough. As far as length, it can easily hang something off of that, you know, hang it off of something. So, you know, I put this I'll tell you what I did here. I put the one bead in there just so it would sit a little nicer in there and it's easier to get to this crimp. Now, you know, I could certainly have used 2 crimps. You know, one that just holds the bottom and then put a second one on. I'd have to undo everything if I wanted to do that, but I think 1 crimp should be fine. So I am going to just stick this end through there, and I'm gonna pull it out the bottom of the big heart just because I'd like a little bit of space. I think that works a pretty good link. They're a pretty good mix there. All right, since there's 3 pieces of wire through there, I am just gonna squash this crimp. And, well, actually, no, I think I'll use the regular crimper as opposed to the magic crimper, since we're doing that. I mean, you might be able to get, I don't know, those of you who've been using magic crimpers longer than me, would you do a magic crimp on 3 strands? All right. We did the crimp, we did the, turned it 90 degrees, and then I like to do an extra squeeze with my flat nose pliers. And let's get in here and trim that. And then I'm going to trim this bottom part. So I've seen the messages from, you know, a lot of people I follow that they're all arriving in Tucson. I saw Candy got here either last night or this morning. And then I know Jill's supposed to come, but I saw that she had pneumonia, so I don't know if she's coming later. I did run into Jill McKay and Neely last time. Don't usually run into anybody else, but I have to say that I'm usually looking at the beads more than I'm looking in the crowds. Just so, you know, I'm probably walking right by all sorts of people that I should recognize from their, you know, from seeing them on their videos. All right, I don't know why I start putting things away before. But anyways, all right, here's our finished sun catcher. So, just a reminder, we've got, we made our sun catcher. So, Janelda, you said it holds better with the regular crimper with 3 strands or the magic crimper? Since with the delay, it's hard to see. So, all right, so we made our sun catcher, right? We used the pink shells there. We used the mermaid beads there. We've got the pink in there as well as our shells and these crystals. And then we've got our ombre design in our bottom part as well as our hanging part. So I think we managed to come up with what we needed. So Lorraine, you said, you know, kits would be fun, but would you guys like some sun catcher kits? I have lots of large sparkly crystals. I don't necessarily have lots of hearts. I just had that one package. But like I said, I may go looking for them. But Sarah suggested to add a third scrap piece if need. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I'm not too concerned that it won't hold. And, you know, and if I decided that I wanted to make it look a little prettier, I could put a cover on it. But this does kind of make it smaller, so it's not as noticeable. You know, and I think as long as you're not yanking on them, it's not going to be a problem. So, all right, so I think we're all ready for Valentine's Day with that, huh? Hopefully there will be more sun here. Like I said, we're having a cloudy day, but we need the snow, or we need the rain if it comes. So this looked like I had a little extra space down here, but oh well. Alrighty. Well, thank you. I'm glad you guys were able to join me. So just a reminder, if you haven't posted anything this month already, we're giving away a pair of these earrings. And then, like I said, depending on who you are, you will possibly get a card holder if you're a first-time winner. If you're not a first-time winner, then I will come up with something special to go along with your earrings. But, you know, you'll get to choose. The drawing will be on Sunday because it's February 1st. So get your entries on the page by Saturday night. I'm glad that, sorry. I'm glad that that I don't have to do anything complicated on Sunday because I'll probably be tired after my class. But so, you know, we'll see. I may or may not do a project. I may just show you some of the fun things I found. I'm sorry, there's something popping up on my screen here, which somebody was calling me apparently. What was I gonna say? Oh, so Sunday, yes. We will do our drawing, our regular time. Like I said, I'll probably show you a little bit of the stuff that I found, or I'll kind of try to tell you at least the trends that I'm seeing. Now, I don't go to all the shows, but all the shows are not beading related either. Some of them are really just rocks and specimens, and if you're into that kind of stuff, or buying the raw stuff because you cut rocks for beads or cabochons. I don't go to all of those shows, but we'll see what they have to offer. And then, like I said, on Saturday, I'm taking a metal clay class, which I'm making a ring. So I'm excited about that. Last year was the first time I played with metal clay, and it's one of those things, you know, I put off. I love metalsmithing, all right, so, but I didn't get into metal clay because I don't own a kiln. So I do it in class. I don't do it outside of there. But, you know, at least I've learned, I've found some people here that I can actually pay them to fire things for me. So, so I could do it if I had time, and get it fired. So, you know, I continue to think about that. But like I said, I right now I've taken 2 classes. I took one last year at the gem show, which I'm taking my 2 classes this year both from that same company that makes the clay. They bring in teachers. And I took one from a local person here last year, which was really cool because we made our own molds out of like pieces of cactus or twigs or something. And that was kind of fun. Then we made little earrings. So I have earrings that are the middle of a cholla plant. So that was fun. But like I said, this year's, I don't know if you know anything about metal clay, is you have to make it and then it shrinks when it's fired. And so, you know, like making a ring, if it's not adjustable, can be, you do have to kind of learn how to do that, because otherwise it's not going to fit. so I'm sure I'll have some stories to tell you. And like I said, if any of you out there are coming to Tucson, let me know. You know, I'd be happy to try to look for you, or you know, meet up to just say hello. Just DM me and let me know. So, jumping cactus here. Yeah, I'll have to get them out and show them to you, because they were fun. So, all right, I am going to for some reason on my camera it's showing me that I have a little blue dot, but I don't know what that is. So anyways, I will post these pictures. I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with this week. And like I said, don't forget, this is the last week to get in on the January drawing. And like I said, if I will have these, your prize, if you're the winner, out there to you before Valentine's Day. So, and I look forward, you know, we do have a couple new people playing, so I'm really happy to see that. So hopefully they'll catch some of the videos. I try to make the cards as simple as possible. You know, we do have directions in there. But just a reminder to people, you know, you draw what makes sense for you, right? Okay, so we're going to draw the make card. At a minimum, you know, if you're starting from scratch, you're probably going to draw a make card, and you're probably going to draw a challenge card. You can draw as many use cards as you want. You know, like I said, my recommendation is 3. I think that's a good challenge. But, you know, depending on what you draw to make, maybe 1 only makes sense, you know, depending on, or if you have a limited stash, maybe 1 makes sense. But it doesn't matter. You know, and if you really want to push yourself, you can draw 5 of them, or however many. But now I have drawn 2 challenge cards once, only because it was like a challenge of a technique, and then I wanted sort of a theme or something to tell me where to go on my project. So I did that. And there are scenarios where you could draw more than 1 make card. So if you have the Joy and Findings deck and you draw the make a head pin card, you might want to draw another card to see what project you should put it in, unless you already know, you know, because sometimes the use cards and all that will kind of steer you in a certain direction. You don't need that extra card, but other times it won't. So anyways, the end of the day, we want this to be fun. We want you to use your stash. We want you to, you know, rediscover what's in there, because when I have to go looking for things, I rediscover things, and it does make me want to make things outside of this, which is the whole idea, is to get us thinking more creatively, and you know, sometimes you get some new designs. So, all right, on that note, I will see you Sunday, and you'll get my personal view of what's happening at the Tucson shows. So I hope to have 3 shows to report back to you on. So that is my current plan, is to go to 1 Thursday, 1 Friday, and then Saturday that my class is at one of the other shows. So I should have at least a brief time to walk around that one. So I will, Sunday, 12 o'clock Mountain Time, and go out, be creative. If you haven't already, please like and follow Desert Cat Creations on Facebook, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Again, I'm trying to get more subscribers on YouTube. I don't put as much content out there as I should, but I'd love to, you know, love to have you guys follow me so I can get to the point where I can do lives on there. All right, I'll let you guys all catch up with Candy. She can tell you what she's discovering in, although the shows don't open, but she may have some access to things from people she deals with today. But I'm sure she'll be live tomorrow from the first show opens tomorrow. So, all right, we'll see you on Sunday. Bye.